30,000 followers on this app, and you think I don't know people?
Who gives a fuck how many followers you have?
Once again, proving that you can't actually argue with what I'm saying, so you have to misquote me on it. Play the rest of the clip. Don't just take it out of context to make me look childish.
Of course there's going to be complaints.
Yeah, I have 30,000 followers on this app, and you think I don't know people in other countries who live under those systems and have complained about them to me? Contrary to what you need to make me out to be, I'm not some child who's just flexing how many followers I have. I was making a point. I have followers all over the world, many in nations that do have universal healthcare, and they have multiple criticisms about it. Stop misquoting me just because you don't have a valid argument to anything I am saying.
Now you complain about the CCP and that communism is destroying the environment.
Yeah, because the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, is responsible for more pollution than any other country. And the only rebuttal you seem to have is this no true Scotsman fallacy. Well, they have free markets, so it's not really communism. Bull crap! In order to get involved in the Chinese economy, you have to be a member of the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. And if the party tells you to stop producing iPhones and start making bombs, you have to do it. Furthermore, this four-pest genocide that they did during the Great Leap Forward, yeah, the market wasn't free back then. Mao Zedong had a total iron grip on the Chinese government. So even before China opened up its markets to international trade, they were still doing detrimental things to their local ecosystems and environment. Then we have the Chernobyl meltdown in Ukraine that happened during the USSR's reign. Oh, and then there's the fact that the Aral Sea was pretty much completely drained by Joseph Stalin himself to irrigate farmland. Like it or not, these things happened under communism, not capitalism. Contrary to what you frame in your video, I never said that this stuff doesn't happen under capitalism. I never said that capitalism prevents the pollution of the environment. But I pointed out that communists have no room to talk because they do it exponentially more. Furthermore, China is not the big manufacturing hub you think it is. They have been overthrown for manufacturing by Mexico and India. It's been quite well known for the last couple of years that companies are leaving China for India and Mexico. Keep up!
Now, the other thing is, you're kind of admitting that you don't keep a tidy, clean place, and then you want to sell food.
No, I complained about the excessive regulations and licensing fees I have to pay while I'm living paycheck to paycheck trying to start a food truck. Hell, I can fucking show it to you. And this is why communists have absolutely no right lecturing libertarians about hating the poor. Y'all hate the rich so much that you would willingly hurt the poor if it hurt the rich too. Y'all are the ones defending tooth and nail the systems that keep poor people poor by making it harder for them to start a business and compete with major corporations. Oh, look how nasty and disgusting it is. Look at the size of this roach. Whoa! Totally unsanitary, bro. Not cool. It's so disgusting and nasty. That is a brand new truck and it has never been used. It is polished clean. I never said that I want to run an unsanitary food truck. I said I shouldn't have to pay thousands of dollars of licensing fees just to run a business. I live paycheck to paycheck right now. God forbid I strike out on my own and become an entrepreneur instead of a wage slave, as you communists like to say. God forbid I want somebody who works for wages to be able to afford to start their own business out of pocket.
I pay upwards of 25% of my tax.
Good for you. Explain to me why it's okay for the government to forcibly take a quarter of everybody's income, even if they need that money to live off of. And it's not like your tax dollars are going to anything useful. They're going to bomb kids in Palestine.
And this is the Ohio River back in the 70s.
Right. And you think the government is needed to keep people from polluting the environment like they did back then? Tell me, what did the government do in response to the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio? Oh, right. They tried to cover it up. With or without government regulations, this stuff happens. If East Palestine taught us anything, is that the government will pollute your environment and then act like that didn't happen.
Okay. So you would make a whole town sick of diphtheria or the plague because you want to cut corners.
There have literally been multiple restaurants who passed their health inspection and have done that. You know what shut those restaurants down? The fact that their customers kept getting sick and kept complaining about it. And as such, those restaurants went out of business. The health inspector didn't shut those disgusting places down. The free market did. And the irony is, you already know this happens. You explained it in your own video.
And if they get sick at my place and they decide not to come back, that's the free market. Now, you've also mentioned that you visited San Francisco, that you visited San Luis Obispo, and da-da-da-da.
Once again, proving you actually have no intention of listening to understand libertarianism, but rather just to argue and tell them they're wrong by basing everything you understand off stereotypes you got from memes and Reddit. It doesn't matter if I've never lived in these places. I have friends who live there, I have family who live there, and I visit quite often. You're just moving the goalposts and saying, but, it doesn't matter. I've been to these places, I visit them often, I talk to my friends and family who live there frequently, and they have just as many complaints about living there as I have about Louisiana. And in both cases, we're complaining about the government and the way the states are being run. And the reality is, we could say the same thing about everywhere on the planet. I like the Iranian people. I like Iranian culture. You couldn't pay me to visit Iran. It doesn't matter if I've never lived there. I've been there. I have friends and family who live there, and I visit quite often. I know what life is like outside of Louisiana. I'm not some dumb hillbilly that you seem to be making me out to be. All you're doing is engaging in special pleading and nothing more.
Now, I forgot to mention that on the other video, where you were ranting about the trash on the street, that's actually the people, not the government.
That's irrelevant, because the only reason I brought it up is because you tried to use the Free State Project as a gotcha moment because they had trash and litter. I pointed out that should exist everywhere. Whether or not you pay the government to do anything about it is irrelevant, because the government is already paid to do something about it, and they don't. But now that you mention it, let's take another walk, because I can show you the guy who actually does clean up around here. At least I can show you his food truck. He's actually been helping me start mine. This is the Big Cheesy of Tigerland. We also have Taco Truck and Hungry Howie's Pizza. But my friend started the Big Cheesy a couple years ago. This man and his employees do more to clean up this neighborhood than the government. What do you know? The free market wins again. See, if you're going to bring up the litter that happened in New Hampshire, don't get mad when I point out that stuff happens everywhere. Oh, and just because I know it's going to get under your skin, California actually litters and pollutes more than any other state in the U.S. Once again, blue state's taking the big L.
Give me an example of a problem and then a libertarian solution.
I already have, multiple times. You just don't listen. Multiple times I have explained solutions to every problem you have discussed, and you have selected to ignore it. Instead, you rely on these straw man caricatures of what you perceive libertarians to be, instead of actually listening to libertarian policies. That's why in every rebuttal you're doing, at one point or another, you just do this.
And da-da-da-da. It's the city's blah, 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 blah.
For the record, you don't get to call anybody childish if this is how you quote people. Blah, 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 blah. You're not listening to a word I am saying. You're taking a lot of stuff I have said out of context. You're completely lying on me. And the only time you argue against libertarian positions, it's a straw man caricature of how you perceive libertarians to be. You have yet to argue against a single statement I have made, and you have literally made stuff up as you have gone along. But please, keep talking. I'm happy to keep posting more videos debunking everything you have to say, and I will also be uploading it to my YouTube, and I need longer content for that. So go ahead and keep running your mouth, though I'm not sure if you can call it running considering how slow you talk. You don't even understand how to debate. You're supposed to talk fast, high energy, fast paced, squeeze the maximum amount of information, shortest amount of time. And you socialists think I'm just angry and belligerent. No, I know what I'm doing. You don't. Communism has failed. Socialism sucks. The real reason y'all hate libertarians is because we offer all the social progress and we want to get rid of income tax, which is something just about every worker wants. Not every worker wants to collectively own the means of production. Some of them just want to make a paycheck and keep what they earned. And now that Javier Milei has been elected president of Argentina, libertarianism is facing the ultimate test that communists have failed the world over in just about every civilization that has attempted it. You're scared that if Javier Milei succeeds, that's going to create a whole new libertarian revolution to counter the resurgence of communist and Marxist ideologies in the last couple of decades. Libertarianism is the way to progress. Get on board or get run over.